Further military and humanitarian aid to the Ukraine is high on the agenda as NATO leaders get their annual summit formally underway in Washington. 5 member states have already promised to provide air defense systems to Ukraine. Let's get the very latest now from SABC News correspondent Kate Fisher, who joins us live from Washington. Kate, so President Joe Biden has announced plans to supply the Ukraine with 5 new strategic air defense systems. Talk to us about this.
That's right. That is one of the commitments he is made. The alliance is vowing to pour more weapons into Ukraine again for another year. Earlier today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying that F-16 fighter jets were on the way to Ukraine as we speak. And as you mentioned, the US and other NATO allies are going to send dozens of air defense systems in the coming months, and they include at least 4 of the powerful Patriot systems that Kyiv has been desperately seeking to help to fight off Russian advances. And of course, this week we saw that dreadful attack on a children's hospital in the capital. And the US is sending those alongside Germany, Italy, the Netherlands and Romania. They're donating Patriot missile batteries. But the big prize that Ukraine really wants is membership, of course, of NATO. And for now, that is off the table. But the White House saying that there is an irreversible path to membership if it continues to meet conditions.
And that's what many experts had even been saying here, that when we interact with them, they were actually of the view that the summit will ultimately declare that Ukraine's path towards NATO is irreversible. So you're saying it's off the cards, though, for now?
Yes, that's right. It's off the cards for this summit. It's not going to be announced here. But the sounds from the US and other NATO allies are very positive that this is something that is going to happen if Ukraine continues to reform its institutions and its democracies. If it continues to do what it has been doing so far, then yes, NATO membership will be coming, and it won't be too far away. And of course, that is vital for Ukraine. Joe Biden speaking just an hour or so ago at the summit saying that NATO will defend every inch of its territory. And of course, Ukraine wants to be part of NATO so it can get this guarantee of security from all those other 32 member countries who make up this alliance.
Now, Kate, the NATO summit is taking place at a time when President Joe Biden's presidential candidacy is under scrutiny following that very disastrous debate. How was the tone of that opening address from the president? Because a number of people were saying he needs to present as a man who is in control.
That's right. He has so much work to do after that disastrous debate performance in trying to convince voters and indeed other foreign leaders that he's capable of doing this job for another 4 years. So all eyes were on him speaking at this summit. And he did deliver a forceful and relatively clear speech. There were no stumbles. But of course, he read completely from the teleprompter. He did not veer off script at all. So this wasn't evidence that he can handle high pressure situations without a script. This was kind of very controlled environment. The big challenge for him will come tomorrow, Thursday, when he's due to hold a press conference, which will be unscripted. And it's the first time that reporters will be able to ask him questions directly face to face since that debate. And so there will be huge scrutiny on that because there have been a slow, now 8 sitting Democratic members of Congress have come out publicly to say they want him to stand aside. George Clooney, the Hollywood star, has written an op-ed in the New York Times saying it's time for him to go and let someone else stand for this presidential election. So huge pressure on him, and everybody will be watching this press conference tomorrow.
It sounds as though the pressure is mounting. But then on the other side, you've got the White House that has implored citizens, particularly journalists, to move on from that debate. We just listened to that clip where the White House was now saying Biden had a bad night. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with him. He concedes that there would have been concerns. Does it seem as though citizens, or more importantly, Democrats collectively, are ready to move on from that night?
Yeah, that is the issue here. Joe Biden himself is clearly not ready to leave the position and to stand aside. And he does have some significant support still within the party, particularly from the Congressional Black Caucus, those African-American members of Congress, all standing behind him. And he says he's not going anywhere. But of course, you've then got these other lawmakers who have come out and said they want him to stand aside. You've got the pressure from the likes of George Clooney and even Nancy Pelosi, the former Democratic Speaker of the House, saying this morning that she didn't say he should step aside, but she did say he should really think about what he wants to do. Even though he's already said he wants to stay in the race. So there's this kind of tap dance going on between the leaders of the Democratic Party about what will happen. But he certainly does not have the support of the entire party behind him. But he does at the moment have enough support to keep staying where he is.
So it seems no one is moving past that disastrous debate. It will still be a subject of much discussion. Thank you very much, Kate, for your time.